Some paranormal stories arrive with decades of folklore attached to them, but others begin in much more ordinary places. A family home, a relative's old house, or even a moment that feels strangely familiar for reasons you cannot explain. And those are often the stories that stay with you, because there's no legend to hide behind and no famous haunted location already telling you what you are supposed to expect. In today's stories, one person experiences a moment they are certain they dreamed years before. Another refuses to give the ghost the reaction it seems determined to get. And elsewhere, the disturbances inside seemingly normal homes become much harder to dismiss. As doors move, objects are thrown, voices are heard, and shadows appear when nobody should be there. We also have an account from China involving something quite different. A woman said to have spent decades allowing the dead to speak through her, sometimes carrying messages for families in her village who wanted to hear from relatives they had lost. As always, with these episodes, these are the experiences exactly as the people sharing them remember them. Some are frightening, some are strange, and a few leave you wondering what you would have made of the same thing if it had happened in your own home. So settle in, because tonight we're heading back into Reddit for another collection of true paranormal encounters.
Thumbtack presents Uncertainty Strikes. I was surrounded. The aisle and the options were closing in. There were paint rollers, satin and matte finish, angle brushes, and natural bristles. There were too many choices. What if I never got my living room painted? What if I couldn't figure out what type of paint to use? What if I just used Thumbtack? I can hire a top-rated pro that knows everything about interior paint, easily compare prices, and read reviews. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods Reddit and listener story episode. I've got 4 spooky stories to share with you today, and I'll get straight into them. Are you ready for the first story? I just lived through a dream that I had 6 years ago. Literally, the exact dream I had just happened for real. This is absolutely insane what happened. I don't have video or anything to prove this, obviously, but I need to tell someone about it because the odds of this happening are so incredibly low. Even I, who is incredibly skeptical about stuff like this, am going like, what the heck just happened? Okay, in like 2019 or 2020, I don't remember exactly when, I had this dream I was sitting downstairs on my couch, feeling super scared and confused in the middle of the night, feeling like something is in the house with me, basically just paranoid and scared and confused. And I was shouting, "Hello, hello, hello, hello," like maybe a little under 10 times. And then someone comes down from the stairs. The staircase is visible from the couch and says, "Go to bed, please." And then I'm trying to get up from the couch, but I can't for some reason. Basically, just that classic dream thing when you can't move properly. Then I fall off the couch to my side and I stand up. And I go to the stairs and another person comes down. and to give them my phone and tell them, bring this to the name of my old boss, and tell them I forgot to leave it when I quit. At the time of the dream, it was right after I quit my job, and I'd forgotten to give back my work phone. And the guy in my dream basically just agreed to that. And what happened just a few hours ago is literally the same thing. I'm not even joking. Except the person that I was in my dream was now my grandfather. So my grandfather had been living with us for just a few days. He had Alzheimer's, and it's getting pretty bad. And he's getting into an elder care home on Monday. Anyway, he's sleeping on the couch downstairs, and in the middle of the night I hear him going, "Hello? Hello?" just like I did in my dream. And then my brother decides to go downstairs to calm him down, and says to him basically, "Go to bed, Grandpa. Come on, it's all right." And then I can hear a little bit of a struggle or something. And my brother is saying, "You want to get up? Need the bathroom?" And then I heard a thud of someone falling, and my grandpa had apparently fallen to the floor. And that's when I came down, because I was worried that he might hit his head or something. And as I'm standing on the staircase, my grandpa comes to me and asks, "Hey man, would you give this to the supervisor, please?" And at this point I'm realizing a little bit like, what the heck is literally going on? This is the dream I had. And I was just playing along with what he was saying. And I said, "Yeah, I'll do that." I've been trying to rationalize it in my head. I'm not misremembering my dream or filling in the blanks or anything. Since I was 17 or so, I've kept a dream journal where I write down my dreams, especially when they're interesting or if it's a nightmare. This is a great way to get ideas, if there's any writers reading, by the way. And everything that I just wrote down previously, explaining my dream, is pretty much exactly what I wrote when I originally had my dream. And I particularly remember this dream due to how scared I was, just sitting on my couch screaming, "Hello." I've been telling my mum and friends and everything, and this stuff is so freaky. I'm going to post this to a few other subs because I just feel like sharing this with people. That is bizarre, isn't it? So it's like he swapped, kind of. He was then the person on the stairs, or the brother was. Yeah, how strange. It's like he got into the future of his grandpa's head. Freaky. Are you ready for the second story? Ghost 0, Me 1. So to start off, I need to explain the kind of person I am. I've always been a really non-reactive kind of guy, and I don't really ever get shocked or startled. My friends usually comment on how cool it is and how amazing I am under pressure, and how I can remain calm in emergencies, etc. As a side note, I've also frustrated a few people by not giving them the reactions they want/expect. My best friend once refused to talk to me for a few weeks, after I didn't seem to care that he was having his first child. We talked about it. I told him that I was, of course, happy for him. It just isn't in my nature to get excited about stuff, good or bad. He knows me and understood. He was just disappointed. I don't say all this to brag about how cool I am and stuff. I just want to illustrate how I am for the context of what just happened. So, my grandma has lived in the same house for my entire life, 28 years, until 2 months ago when she moved out to a new house out in the country. The new house is really nice and I'm happy for her. Apparently, she didn't like living there anymore because it's a big old house with lots of painful memories. My dirtbag grandpa cheated on her, then left her a year or two ago, and it's a pain to try and keep it maintained. And of course, there's the ghost. For as long as I can remember, my grandma has complained about a ghost that messes with her all the time. The usual stuff: strange noises in the attic, basement, and in the walls, voices, stuff going missing and showing up in weird places, doors opening and closing, footsteps, etc. She moved pretty suddenly, taking only what she needed and leaving all of her accumulated stuff from being in her 80s behind, asking if my family could help her slowly move the rest out to where she is now, and move some stuff she didn't want anymore into storage. Me being in college and between jobs with a bunch of free time, I'm doing the bulk of it. A few weeks ago, I was in the house doing this when I started hearing stuff. At first, I was in the dining room packing some old people china, the fancy kind that's never been used, when I hear the metal screen door to the garage open and slam shut. Thinking it was my mum coming by to give me some lunch. "Hey, that you, Mum?" No answer. I walked to the other side of the house and checked the garage. No one was there. No cars in the driveway. House is empty. I shrug. Probably the wind. Next, I'm hauling the taped-up box of newspaper-wrapped china to my car. While in the garage, I hear a loud metal bang in the house. I finish putting the boxes in and go inside to see 2 of the floor-level cabinets in the kitchen open, and all the metal pots and pans strewn into the floor. Since I need to pack them up anyway, I just pack them all up and carry them out to the car. I'm still in the kitchen, and it's nearly an hour later, when I hear something in the basement. Sounds like someone running up and down the basement stair very loudly. The basement door is attached to the kitchen, so I turn around and open the door, flipping the light switch at the top of the stairs. The sound stopped when I opened the door, and I didn't see anything. Again, stuff like this doesn't really creep me out, so I just move down the stairs to see if I can see anything. Nothing down there, but bookshelves filled with cookbooks and boxes of old Christmas decorations and junk. As I turn around to go back upstairs, I hear and see a mop in the maintenance closet. I guess that's what it is. It's a tiny room to the left of the stairs with the water heater and the fuse box. The mop kind of jumped out of the bucket. It's in and out of the room, like someone threw it. This was odd for 2 reasons. 1, obviously, it looked like a mop hopped out of the bucket onto the floor by itself. 2, the maintenance door was closed when I came in, and I didn't open it. I know it was closed because if the door to the closet is open, then it blocks the staircase, and I didn't have to go around it to get in. So, like the character from a horror movie, I walk over and into the closet to investigate, more confused than scared. Inside, I pulled the chain to turn on the hanging light bulb to turn the light on. After 3 seconds or so, I hear the light bulb pop as the lights go out, and the door behind me slams closed hard. I turn around calmly to try to open the door, but the handle won't turn. It's like someone is holding the knob from the other side. Keep in mind, this door doesn't lock, it's just a knob without a lock. I step back, and after about 5 more seconds, I say, "Okay, what now?" in a gentle, nonchalant tone. I wait about a minute more in the pitch black room before trying the handle again, and it opens with no problem. I step out, go back up the stairs, and go back to packing. And that's it. It's been a few weeks and nothing has happened since then. I've been over there pretty much every day for at least an hour. I think the ghost rage quit because, unlike my grandma, I didn't seem to react or care about the stuff it was doing. I like that, rage quit. Is that a saying these days? I have no idea, but I do like it. I'm sure I've rage quit many things in my time. But spooky, and it would make sense. Just don't give it any attention and it will give up and won't bother you anymore. Are you ready for the third story? 3 a.m. Unexplained encounters. My teenage years revolved around my mysterious experiences in my home. Please bear with me. It's a long story, but a big part of my life. Growing up, I moved many times, but in one particular house, things had gotten intense. Every night at 3 a.m, our dog would bark. I would go to check to find nothing was there. I would hear someone walking on the rocks next to the house outside my window. A couple of times there were knocks on the side of the house. I'd wake up with the window wide open from being closed. I told my best friend I thought someone was breaking in, and she was determined to stay with me. She was kind of a skeptic, but we didn't think of anything paranormal at the time. We had weapons stashed. We set up cameras and noise traps. After the first night reviewing the videos, all we saw was a dark shadow come up the hall and stand over our heads on the couches. Slept in the living room because it felt safer. Then would disappear back down the hall. One night, a shadow sat in a chair in the back while my sister slept. We tried to mimic the figure in the video, but it was too tall. During the day, things would go missing, but would reappear later in another place. We would leave for 20 minutes to come back to the house, obviously messed with. Night after night, the dog would bark, but we never found anyone. We were sure it had to be someone coming because the physical aspect of things being moved, but all the evidence pointed to the paranormal. Then one night, we both woke up randomly and started having girl talk at around 1 a.m. The TV was on the blue screen because it timed out, and it was pretty quiet. My friend Sierra looks behind me and says, "Do not turn around. If you do, we're leaving right now." Of course, that's too tempting not to look, so I turned around. On a wide-framed painting hanging on the wall behind me, in the reflection between me and the blue screen TV, was a dark shadow that was obviously not in front of my eyes. You could make out shoulders and a head, but not much else. I looked at Sierra, and she looked at me. We both looked back and looked at each other again. We both stared as it moved slowly in front of the TV, to the left, as it crossed over the china cabinet and merged with the darkness. We grabbed our keys and went for a drive. The videos are on her phone now. It was recorded on a rubbish non-night vision webcam from the 2000s. Bad quality, but the other videos went missing, so luckily we still have some. So many more instances, too much for the post. For years I was ready to fight an intruder whilst being haunted. I couldn't sleep until after 3 a.m. when I knew it was safe. It's hard to explain to someone who doesn't believe in much paranormal, because it consumed years of my life. My mum didn't want to believe me, so Sierra and I did what we could. This continued until I was 18, and the only way I escaped was by moving away. Even after that, things continued, but not as intense. Can anyone relate? Has anyone else had their life altered for the unexplained? I'd like to know. This story sounds really sad. I find it heartbreaking that something could take over your life in that way. Me, I wouldn't even notice a lot of paranormal stuff if it was going on around me. The only time I'm in tune with stuff is when I'm in the house on my own. And then it's probably not paranormal, it's just my old floorboards squeaking and Luna breathing hard and moving around to my bedroom. But yeah, for something like that to really have such a weight on you is devastating. Are you ready for the fourth and final story? Spirit taking over someone's body. Hi everyone. I just want to find out more information about this. My grandpa's sister-in-law grew up in China and is still there. Let's call her Marie. I don't know her actual name. I usually call her by her title, aunt, mum, sister, etc. titles. Since her late 20s, spirits could possess her body and speak through her. When this happens, she's not consciously aware of anything, like sleeping and waking up. However, she knows when a spirit wants to borrow her body because she gets an unusual sensation or behaviour. Back in 2002, when I went to China for a vacation, I was 8. My grandpa's sister died at 15, wanted to speak through Marie's body. She does this by closing her eyes, breathing, and slowly laying on the bed she was sitting on. Then she wakes up and the spirit possesses her body. My grandpa's sister wanted to say that she's happy that my mum and I returned to visit, as well as other stuff. Nowadays, Marie still gets requests from villagers that want to speak with their deceased ones. Apparently, some of the people in the village have this ability. Are you guys familiar with this or have any comments? Thanks.
Thumbtack presents Uncertainty Strikes. I was surrounded. The aisle and the options were closing in. There were paint rollers, satin and matte finish, angle brushes, and natural bristles. There were too many choices. What if I never got my living room painted? What if I couldn't figure out what type of paint to use? What if I just used Thumbtack? I can hire a top-rated pro that knows everything about interior paint, easily compare prices, and read reviews. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.
I'm going back to college for $0 delivery fee, up to 10% off orders, and 5% Uber credits back on rides. Not whatever you think college is for.
Get Uber One for students. With deals this good, everyone wants to be a student. Join for just $4.99 a month. Savings may vary. Eligibility and member terms apply.
Yeah, I've heard it happen. I've never seen anybody do it. I wonder if you've ever seen anybody do that kind of thing, because I think I'd get a bit freaked out. I think I'd probably get the giggles first though, because things make me nervous. When I get nervous, I giggle, even when it's inappropriate. Well, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you again on Sunday for the After Dark. Take care, everyone.
Thumbtack presents Uncertainty Strikes. I was surrounded. The aisle and the options were closing in. There were paint rollers, satin and matte finish, angle brushes, and natural bristles. There were too many choices. What if I never got my living room painted? What if I couldn't figure out what type of paint to use? What if I just used Thumbtack? I can hire a top-rated pro that knows everything about interior paint, easily compare prices, and read reviews. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.
This summer, don't squeeze in, spread out. Find homes big enough for your whole guest list on Vrbo. That's vacation rentals done right. Book your stay now.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.